Hello, everyone. Well, yesterday, the MyPillow guy, Mike Lindell, was driving his car through Minnesota after a hunting trip, swung by Hardee's to get some fast food when he was surrounded by FBI agents. They forced him to hand over his cell phone. Why is the FBI targeting the MyPillow guy, Mike Lindell? Well, it's a really important case. It's an insane case. It has a lot to do with you, as I teased on social media. It has to do with your right to get real answers on what the heck is going on with your civic duty. When you go to select the person that you want to represent you in office, are you really selecting that person? Or is the machine being finagled? Well, Mike Lindell, in the past couple of years, has gone beyond pillows. He's now a media head honcho. He started Frank's Speech. He's a journalist. So once again, the FBI has seized the phone of a journalist to snoop on news that he's covering. Now, nobody really calls Mike Lindell a journalist, but he has a journalism platform now. Journalists are people who go out and try to get answers to the public's questions. There is a monstrous section of the public in America right now who has a bunch of questions about 2020. Mike is one of the few who are going out and seeking answers. We all know Fox doesn't seek those answers. In fact, they won't even say that Mike Lindell exists anymore. So someone's got to do it. Mike has been posting extremely transparent information on his website, Frank's Speech. Not conspiracy theories, dumping raw data on there for gurus, computer gurus, to double check and figure out what's really going on. Apparently it's a little too much, and the FBI is after him. This case is insane, you guys. So first things first, since we're on YouTube, let's share what CNN has to say. YouTube's best buddy, CNN, is reacting and saying Mike Lindell needs to lawyer up because it appears Lindell is a criminal.
Why would the FBI investigators think that there's still information on the phone? Wouldn't Mike Lindell, if he knew that he was under the spotlight, start deleting stuff months ago?
Yes, but they've got really good computer experts, and they can get those deleted text messages back in some cases. Also, it depends on the scope of the search warrant to see how broadly they can examine the phone, because no one wants their phone taken. There's a lot of bad stuff that could be found on someone's phone, and once the FBI gets it, it could be a free-for-all, but it depends on the scope of the search warrant. So Mike Lindell still is in a lot of trouble here. I mean, my advice to him would be to use some of his MyPillow money to hire a good criminal defense lawyer.
So CNN's implying that Mike Lindell's actually committing crimes. We're going to dive into what this was really about. It has to do with answers to your questions in regards to how those machines worked in 2020. A shout out to the sponsor of my coverage. Are you ready for the blackout day? If you're not familiar with it, you should be. The federal regulators with U.S. electricity believe that a colossal terrorist attack capable of completely wiping out the power grid and sending us back into a dark age could happen at any moment. They've dubbed this attack Blackout Day. When Blackout Day occurs, steps must be taken within 30 minutes. These steps are outlined in the explosive free video. This video guides you step by step instructions on producing your own electricity, whether water, wind, sun, and more. Thousands of satisfied customers have more peace of mind knowing that they're prepared for Blackout Day thanks to this amazing how-to video. Try, review, and learn to protect yourself against the dark age. Watch the free video by going to the link down in my description, darkageprotection.com. It's time sensitive, so hurry. One more clip from CNN's coverage of this, then we're going to hear from Mike Lindell himself and figure out the details of what the FBI is after. So CNN kind of breaks down what this is about. They talk about the whistleblower. It's important in journalism when whistleblowers do what few would do and bring evidence to a journalist. That's what happened here. CNN talks about it.
To get a search warrant, you've got to have probable cause that a crime occurred and that evidence of the crime is on his phone. So it's really bad for him. And this whole story is bizarre because it involves him being in cahoots, allegedly, with a surfer turned QAnon election conspiracy theorist who then faked his identity to steal an election machine. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
He was in cahoots with this guy, meaning he accepted what this guy uncovered and put it on his website. And that's what a good news outlet would do when you're trying to get answers to questions. This surfer turned conspiracy theorist, or whatever the guy called it. It's not a conspiracy theory when you're taking actual evidence from inside a machine and putting it out to the public. Okay, conspiracy theories are sitting and theorizing about things without any real proof. These are the few people who are going out and finding proof. And Mike's website is one of the very, very few that will host this sort of stuff. CNN saying he's in cahoots. Oh my gosh, this is really bad. This is a case about free press. And Mike is simply taking a tipster, putting information out to the public, high news value. Tons of people want answers. How do these machines really work? When I went to select my guy that I wanted to represent me in public office, did I really select that guy, or did the machine flip it? I want to know how this machine works. And nobody's telling me. So someone had to go undercover to look at this machine, give it to the media now being Frank's speech, which few people call that the media yet, but it is. He's one of the few who are actually getting answers on this topic. Now the FBI is after Mike because of it. Let's look. Mike did an Instagram live stream, his first ever Instagram live stream yesterday. The Pillow Guy is on IG Live, and he broke down yesterday what went down. Here it is.
The FBI came after me and took my phone. They surrounded me at a Hardee's and took my phone that I run all my business, everything with. They could have just, what they've done is weaponize the FBI. It's disgusting. I don't have a computer. Everything I do have that phone, everything was on there, and they told me not to tell anybody. Here's an order, don't tell anybody. Okay, I won't. Well, I am. So, there you go.
This is so creepy that the FBI in multiple of these cases this past year is saying, telling people, we are after you, but don't let anyone else know we're after you. Seizing his phone, where he runs his 5 businesses off of that phone, doesn't even have a computer, does everything on the phone. And now the FBI is pouring through all of that and saying, yeah, we're on a witch hunt after you, but don't cry for help to anyone. Don't say a word that we're after you. So Mike's like, yeah, right, I'm gonna, which is the same story as my independent journalism friend, Steve Baker, who was also called in by the FBI. FBI said that charges against Steve were imminent just for doing journalism, just for filming as an unbiased person, filming January 6th going down. Not wearing any Trump gear, just filming it. FBI comes after him for doing journalism and says, don't let anyone know. So Steve promptly puts out a press release, sends it everywhere, does some media about it, and the FBI backed down. So I think the right thing to do is, you're innocent, FBI's after you, call it out, man. And probably the only people who listen is the independent journalists, but more and more people are turning to independent journalism. You got to put the FBI on blast, and hopefully the FBI will freak out and get all skittish and stop attacking innocent, independent journalists. And Mike Lindell now has an independent journalism platform, frankspeech.com. And what do you know? FBI's after him for his coverage of shenanigans that went down in Colorado. Now, we're going to get into the specifics of these shenanigans and what the FBI is on a witch hunt about. Lindell briefly talked about that in his live stream yesterday. Here it is.
It's a federal subpoena coming out of Colorado. So this is all about the Mesa County and Tina Peters case, correct?
That is correct, and they wanted to know about the image. I said, you guys can see the image right here on Frank's Speech. We got the whole evidence right up here for you. It shows you guys, it shows what did. They deleted. This shows inside the machines.
FBI, in questioning him at Hardee's yesterday, wanted to know about the images he published from inside the notorious machine, how that machine that starts with a D really works. We want to know about that image. What sort of images do you have? Hey, he's like, hey, I put it all up on my website, frankspeech.com. By the way, guys, that's called journalism, and maybe the FBI should back off of the First Amendment for a second. The one guy willing to get answers on this, and FBI's after him. What does that tell the rest of the independent media? That they better watch out, or the FBI might come after them too. This is a strange time to be alive. A lot of intimidation going on right now. CNN covered this. Well, it's funny. While Mike was live streaming yesterday, CNN started calling his phone. So CNN has an article out, quote, pillow salesman and Trump ally Mike Lindell says FBI served him with subpoena for contents of his phone. In an interview with CNN, Lindell said agents asked him questions about Tina Peters, the Mesa County, Colorado clerk who is facing state charges connected to a scheme that allegedly allowed an unauthorized person to access the machines. Peters has pleaded not guilty. Now, when I first heard from Mike that the FBI wanted details from his phone because they were investigating elections in Colorado, I said, oh, wait, good. Maybe the FBI is actually wanting to get to the bottom of some of these shenanigans to figure out are our elections secure? But no, actually. So the whistleblower who exposed apparent vulnerabilities is now being sought by the FBI, and the FBI is not interested in investigating the apparent F word, the apparent shenanigans that basically, when you go to vote for one guy, it could go to another guy. FBI is not looking at that. They're looking at the guy who exposed that and trying to take that guy down. This is how insane this is, you guys. So I have linked a couple of the key links from Mike Lindell's website down in my description. He has one of this headline about bombshell proof. He put this out in July of this year, looking at these machines. And it is a long analysis. So apparently, this guy who went undercover was able to get enough access inside the machines that investigators were really able to probe, a machine in Colorado to see, how secure is this? So if you guys want to, you can read it yourselves. I'm just going to try to read a couple of sentences from this summary without getting deleted by YouTube. But it says, this report documents the findings of an examination of the count based on forensic analysis of the drive image of Mesa County, Colorado's machine, their server to be exact. The findings in this report were prepared by the authors as consultants to the legal team representing Tina Peters, the Mesa County clerk and recorder, pursuant to her statutory duties as Mesa County's chief official. Much like the guy mentioned from Wisconsin yesterday, Tina Peters cares very much about integrity. She wants to make sure that when you go in to pick someone, that you're really picking that guy and that the machine is not going to be finagled. Tina cares so much about that the FBI has now arrested her. Okay. So like what they're saying that she was somehow in cahoots with the whistleblower, allowing that man access to see inside the machine to see how it really works. How criminal. How criminal to let people in America know how the machines work in the most sacred aspect of being an American, going out to perform your civic duty. And we aren't supposed to see inside these machines. And the people who are finally exposing this are called conspiracy theorists by the mainstream media for actually finding the evidence and bringing it to frankspeech.com. This is literal insanity. Let me see if I can read one more section of this report to you so you can kind of get a gist of what this is really about. So the analysis is in regards to manipulation of data. It says our analysis shows manipulation, which was neither initiated nor authorized by Mesa County clerks. Manipulation of batches, manipulation of those papers you guys filled out to pick your guy. And so this analysis breaks it down exactly what's going on, but it shows that someone's separate from the workers in that district. Someone apparently remotely accesses and did something to the databases on there in the week or so before we all were supposed to head out to pick our guy. So they're saying this, you're just going to have to read this report because I literally cannot speak freely on YouTube, but I've linked it down on my description. And hey, guys, all my videos feed over to Rumble. If I get enough Rumble subscribers, I can ditch YouTube and speak freely about this. But right now, the sponsors of my coverage only want to sponsor me on YouTube, which is why I try to be as transparent with you about these big issues as possible on YouTube while not getting deleted on YouTube. If we can move the audience over to Rumble, the sponsors of my coverage, the advertisers, they'll stick with me on Rumble, and we can rock and roll over there and expose this stuff. So that's what's going on with me having to do code words on YouTube because I really want to talk about these important issues, but YouTube highly censors this topic, which is another extremely alarming aspect of what we're dealing with in 2022 in America, that the most important aspect of being an American that we need to shed light on is being extremely censored. When you go out to select someone to represent you, are you really selecting that guy, or is the machine being messed with? So that summary that I just hinted at there, don't take the people writing that's word for it. Mike Lindell dumped all the data on his website so you can double check it yourself. It is called, the headline, well, I've linked it down below. Inside the Machines is the headline. And he dumps an immense amount, 2 files. One's 18 gigs, another's 19 gigs. So you can see everything inside of that machine. And it's going to take computer whizzes to really understand and decipher what's going on. But in some aspects of some of the information inside there is written in Korean, apparently, which is bizarre. People were saying it was Chinese. Is China messing with these? But apparently it's Korean. So I have linked that below. So, this is not conspiracy theorizing. This is being a journalist. And when the viewers have questions, Mike is saying my new journalism website is open to publish the answers to those questions when we get them. And one brave guy was brave enough to go in undercover and look inside one of those machines. Now, apparently he filmed video inside the machines, and apparently passwords were in that video. And so that's what the Secretary of State's office and the media have been harping on, and apparently why the county clerk has now been arrested is because she is being accused of allowing that guy to intentionally leak passwords to the machines, which would compromise their integrity. I have a headline from NPR. After data is posted on conspiracy site, Colorado County machines are banned. So that conspiracy site is Gateway Pundit. Again, Gateway Pundit, they posted actual evidence inside the machines. That's not a conspiracy theory. And by the way, NPR is getting confused about conspiracy versus conspiracy theory. A conspiracy is people actively working together to do something. Conspiracy theory is theorizing about whether people are actively working together. Anyway, so this so-called conspiracy site was not conspiring or theorizing. It was simply releasing information from a whistleblower. And, you know, that's about as good as it gets when you have actual video and data of what something looks like inside a machine. So I have this highlighted from the NPR article. The Secretary of State, Griswold, quote, "We know that information was posted by an extreme conspiracy theorist last week," Griswold said, referring to Gateway Pundit, a conservative news site that traffics in election conspiracy theories. It's not a conspiracy theory if the Secretary of State is confirming that Gateway Pundit posted real data from what these machines look like and what's really going on inside them, which is answer to people's questions. So if those are the machines you and I have to use, we should know everything about how they work. So this same Secretary of State went on the local news, which the local news report on this was insane, but she's talking about the problems with this whistleblower releasing what these machines really look like. Here she is, Secretary of State of Colorado, Jenna Griswold, and the big problem with being transparent with the public.
You could change settings, for example. You could take screenshots. You could really pull out information to try to undermine confidence in the voting equipment itself.
So she's saying that the issue is that this guy potentially was able to get screenshot. In fact, he did. He got video, not just screenshot. He got video. He indeed pulled out information about this machine to show the public, which she says could undermine confidence. Now, if showing how the machine works that we have to use, if it's a good machine, wouldn't that boost our confidence? If we're able to see how it really works and it's a good machine and it works well, that should boost our confidence, right? So why is she saying that screenshots of how the machine works would actually undermine confidence? That's my question about all this. We are apparently supposed to just keep our blinders on, which the local news definitely did when they interviewed her, and take her talking points for it and just trust and not question at all how this machine works and not see any, any actual evidence. But the people who are releasing the actual evidence are the ones who are called conspiracy theorists, when they're the ones actually dumping out truth bombs. What is going on? And so here's the thing. Okay, so Channel 7 out of Denver, Colorado covered this. Channel 7 actually took the video that conspiracy site Gateway Pundit posted, and apparently this video showed one page. Now it shows the logo of the machine company in the bottom right, so you can see it is that machine company that starts with a D. One of the screens says wireless device enabled, and basically showing enough evidence to prove that these machines, they can be connected to the internet. I don't know how much I can say on YouTube. They can be remotely accessed. And Channel 7's anchor goes on to say, but we don't need to worry about whether these machines, after literally showing the evidence, I give Channel 7 credit for showing the evidence. But the anchor then says, okay, so even if these machines were accessed by, remotely, it doesn't really matter because this video was filmed in May 2021 when no election was happening. So it was fine to have the machine have that vulnerability then. It's like, excuse me? The same thing could have probably happened prior, like back in November. So I'm like, this anchor's really not thinking deeply about this. She's saying it's fine that it was connected to the internet then. So here's the thing. So why is this Mesa County clerk, Tina Peters, why is she being hunted and taken down by the FBI now? And why is she connected to Mike Lindell? So here's the thing. The Gateway Pundit talked about this. So on Tuesday night of, it would have been, I believe, August 10th, a whistleblower of 2021. This is the important time. So August of last year, a whistleblower was slated to reveal irrefutable evidence proving these shenanigans at Mike Lindell's cyber symposium. So almost exactly just over a year ago, the same person who went undercover to get this information in May of 2021 was going to bring it to a big audience August of 2021 on Mike Lindell's platform. And the whistleblower and the Mesa County clerk, Tina Peters, both were raided. Then, I guess on the way to the symposium, it says, Tina Peters' office was raided while she was heading to meet up with Mike Lindell. She wasn't even there at the time because she was going on Mike Lindell's live stream, the symposium, to talk all about this. So apparently the Secretary of State's office had her office raided, and here's why. Back when that person went undercover, the Colorado Secretary of State had 7 people in the room in May of 2021 to update the machines. Like you update the software on your phone, these machines were going to be updated as well, which actually obliterates evidence from the previous November. So maybe you don't want to perform that update, but before the update happened, the whistleblower was able to grab that information. But 7 people were in that room, including the clerk herself. So Secretary of State is after that clerk saying, we think that you are responsible for leaking this information. So Secretary of State then started an investigation to figure out who of these 7 people leaked the password and private information about the machines. Denver Channel 7 refers to the Gateway Pundit as a website that peddles conspiracies. They're the actual website that was willing to release whistleblower video. So Denver Channel 7 goes on to show video of what the Gateway published. One screen, I told you, one screen says wireless device enabled. Secretary of State told Channel 7 she believes the county clerk's office leaked the passwords. The machine company leaked video, the video from the whistleblower. Sorry, I'm reading my notes, you guys. Basically, yeah, you can access these machines remotely was what the whistleblower was showing, and they're supposed to detail it all in that, at length on the cyber symposium, and then they get raided. Secretary of State Griswold told Channel 7, that person, you heard her soundbite, the screenshots would undermine confidence. So Channel 7 talked to the machine company, and the machine company said, no, you cannot. We've made sure these machines can't be accessed remotely. Okay, so during Lindell's symposium, the Mesa County clerk, Tina Peters, told the audience that her office never had the machine password. So Tina Peters says she doesn't even have the password, so she's not the one who leaked this information. Yet she has been raided multiple times now. The FBI, I'm reading Channel 11, says the FBI raids home of Mesa County clerk and recorder Tina Peters and Lauren Boebert's former campaign manager. So the same lady, Tina Peters, she was raided in November of last year Early Tuesday morning, the Federal Bureau of Investigations executed a search warrant at 4 locations in western Colorado. So the FBI is after these people for simply showing the interior of one of these machines. The county is now getting rid of that machine and said they either have to get new machines, same brand though, either get new machines or you're going to have to totally hand count everything. So here's the thing. These machines, reading the review on Lindell's page, it's actually, they are paper. It is paper where you select your guy, but the machines then take digital images of all these papers, and then they calculate the number from all those digital images, which previous cyber experts have previously said the problem with that is if someone wanted to come in and manipulate the system with remote access, they can mess with the digital image count. They can do things with the images, duplicate them or subtract, delete. So the digital image count is manipulatable. So that's another problem as well. Pray for my YouTube page, guys. I'm not supposed to talk about this. Oh, yeah. So if you check foxnews.com, Lindell, they haven't said a word about Lindell in 2 years. Foxnews.com used to cover Mike Lindell all the time. It suddenly ceased 2 years ago. And that's because Fox is being sued by the company and the machine company, and they are being little pussies, and they are saying we're not going to mention anyone who questions this machine company. If you look at Politico.com, when they covered who won in Colorado, Joe Biden beat Donald Trump by nearly 500,000 votes in Colorado. You look at, they actually have a section on the site, county flips and significant shifts. We're tracking which counties flip from Democrat to Republican and vice versa. These results will be updated. Okay, so when they show the significant shifts, there was only one county that flipped, and it flipped from Republican to Democrat. Every single county they list moved towards Democrat, and each one moved almost exactly the same amount towards Democrat, compared to previous elections. So Mesa is a very red county, which is probably why they have people there who actually cared about the integrity there. Yet that county moved the same as all the other counties towards the left, but it still stayed in Trump zone. So just giving you guys that update. Other than that, I did link down below what the federal agency, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, says about this machine company. It did its own investigation. As part of previous claims against this company, this machine company, a lot of people have been concerned about it in previous years. So federal agency had been doing a years-long investigation. They just released the results of that in this summary published June 3rd, 2022. I've linked it down in my description, talking about all the vulnerabilities. There are indeed a lot of vulnerabilities with this machine company. It is not a freaking conspiracy theory. And these media members are absolute cowards. I am dumbfounded. And it's like, do you guys not realize that a key part of being a journalist is listening to viewers' concerns, that you're having curiosity yourself and some common sense, and not putting your blinders on because the Secretary of State tells you to. I don't know. It's just, I'm like, what sort of twilight zone are we in right now? So I don't know. I'm running out of time here, but this is what it's all about. This is why Mike Lindell has been targeted. FBI wants more details on that whistleblower, the county clerk there, Tina Peters. Was she collaborating with the whistleblower? How the heck did this guy get to go undercover and look at the machines? That's what the FBI wants to know. And they know that Mike Lindell has talked a lot with these people, had them on his media outlet. So Mike Lindell has a lot of intel on these people, and the FBI wants the intel from Mike's phone so that it can take down these people who were releasing newsworthy information to the public. This is an egregious violation against the First Amendment. That's what this case with Mike Lindell is. It's horrifying for each one of us who cares about free speech, free press, whether our civic duty is something that is still intact. And the FBI is on the wrong side of the history as far as I can tell. But let me know what you think. Comment below. It helps my algorithm. Click like, share, subscribe, all that, blah, blah, blah. Hit that little bell for notifications for my next live stream, and wish my page luck, because YouTube doesn't like this topic, but I played a CNN clip, so hopefully YouTube will spare me. Checking your comments. All right, thanks everyone for tuning in. Oh, thanks for the super chat. The documentary Hacking Democracy was great. Oh yeah? I have not seen that. I will have to check it out. I wonder if that's a forbidden topic on YouTube. Checking your comments. Thanks so much, guys, for the support. And I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.